little update for you. I have done a lot of testing with different materials and different settings on my new key switch, and I just wanted to demonstrate some of the differences in the sound. But in order to do that, I'm going to put the phone down. And all sorts of things are different about these key switches. The keycap makes a little bit of a difference in the sound, but not that much, for reference. So I just want to point out that the only difference between these is just there's two things. One is the plastic type, and two is just some parameters in the OpenSCAD script that I wrote to generate them. That's it. That's the only difference. So two things that are very easy to change. And I want you to listen very closely to the sounds these make. So let's start with one of the earlier prototypes. It's a little rattly because I messed around with it. It's a little too loose because I pressed on it, but that's what one of the earlier prototypes sounds like. Another later prototype. And then with this one, I printed the stem in PCTPE, and that's all I did. That's all this is. See the difference in sound is a lot quieter because the stem is a different material. This is one that I tried to get as clicky as possible, the K here, and I'll get back to this one in just a second. Hear that? And this is one I just printed with some yellow. It's just the same as all the others, but it's I lubricated it and I printed it in this weird yellow filament. It's just a PLA. But other than that, it's basically the same as all the others. Now this one's extra clicky because I used that click feature where I put the magnet in there. You see that? And that's one of the reasons what makes it extra clicky, and it's also the material that's made out of. So this is a PLA stem with PETG body, and that seems to be the loudest so far with the clicky magnet on there. But just straight PLA, that's all this is. Just straight PLA. It's actually pretty quiet. And then this is my favorite so far. And what I've done is I took a monkey spring and I just cut it off to act as a sound dampener so that the keycap itself wouldn't slam down into the body. Also, this has got a PCTPE stem, and I broke off the end here and then I glued it back on. That's all that is. But listen to this one. Oh my gosh, and it feels so fantastic, let me tell you. And then this is the latest one. I'm running out of keycaps to test with. I gotta go with my bag, get some. But this is one I just made, and it's all PETG. Come on, camera focus, there we go. It's nothing but PETG, but it has a new stem type that's actually a two-piece stem. And what's special about this one is the distance between that magnet in the stem and the body magnet that it is attracted to. There's 0.2 millimeters of plastic, so it's a much stronger force than the others. And this is probably what's going to be closer to my final version that I release. And you see all of them lean a little bit. That's just because of the tolerances, and the magnet pulls it on one side but not the other. There's a couple ways I can figure that. I can fix that, but it's not a big deal for now. I don't know why this one doesn't seem to have that problem. Probably a shorter throw distance. But of all of them, this one's the smoothest, and I really can't figure out why. I didn't really do anything special to it. So let's hear them all. This one's almost totally silent. I mean, the difference between the super clicky one and the sound dampened version, and all that is just a little bit of Ninja Flex. That it's just dampening the sound here. And then the stem is PCTPE, which is a slightly softer plastic, but it's still quite, it's quite rigid. It's not like a flexible. So it's just amazing. Just a few little changes that you can print out yourself to go from ridiculously loud to almost completely silent. Let me show you from the underside. Maybe that would be helpful. That's the quiet one. I'm curious what this one will sound like if I put a magnet on there. Let me get that. And putting the magnet on is easy. You just get it close, and bam. Now let's see what it sounds like. slightly more clicky. But I increased the tolerances on this so that there's less motion, like pre-travel. And that might have made it slightly less loud on the click. But, oh, it feels fantastic. This is the latest prototype, and I must say, oh, nice and strong. It's probably 68 or 70 grams of force would be my best guess. But if I put another magnet right there, then it'd be really strong. And of course, the tactility starts right at the beginning. It's not like a normal switch where you have to press it down a little bit before you feel a bump. The bump is immediate, which I think is fantastic. And like everything else, it's all parametric.